Top 5 college football teams in this week's AP poll: Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, and Washington. USC dropped from 10th to 18th. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader. KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcasts of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your beer.
Follow the leader.
Following the leader.
Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
I've been thinking about you for quite a while. You're on my mind every day and every night. My every thought is you. The things you do seem so satisfying to me. I must confess it, girl. And I like it. You send chills up my spine every time I take one look at you.
KBLA Talk 1580. Gotta excuse me, Mr. George Lee Jr. Elder Barge is coming in later this morning, and so we are paying tribute to him a little bit. But I'm so excited to have you on the show. He's a dynamic orator, an innovator, an educator, an influential content creator. He says his work sits at the intersection of media, socio-political issues, and popular culture. He's purposefully provocative as a tool to elevate and educate around the pertinent topics of his generation through social media content, speaking engagements, lectures, and online courses. He says you can't change what you don't know needs to be changed. George Lee Jr., known as the Conscious Lee. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I've been enjoying your posts, and so it's great to talk to you, sort of in person.
Yes, it is. It is. I agree.
You know, the thing I find with being a so-called, political pundit, I don't know if you consider yourself that. I guess I kind of am. Like I do
guess
talk.
somewhat of a. I guess I think so. I think so. I think I will maybe fall under that umbrella a little bit at least.
Yeah, I mean, you do it your way, but you're opining on important issues, and it's kind of a tough game because you get so much criticism, right? You can never be. No one's ever going to agree with you all the time, but you seem to be on the total IDGAF kind of vibe.
Yeah,
like you're just free with it.
Yeah, my grandpa taught me. I feel like I was raised with my grandparents. You know what I'm saying? And right is right, and wrong is wrong. Ethics is ethics, and morals is morals. You see what I'm saying? And when it comes to my ethics and morals and principles, I don't really got time to negotiate with folks that I don't really care about, and or some people that's gonna make it where it results in me being unethical or me being immoral. It's like I ain't got time for you. You feel me? Race, class, gender, ability, sexuality. It don't matter for me. It's like right is right, wrong is wrong. I'm talking about the ethics, the power, the domination, and identity. That's really my wheelhouse. I feel like I'm an expert at that. So, right is right, wrong is wrong.
And from my perspective, you have a very clear analysis on a lot of things that are confusing or scary or, well, I think confusing is a word because we get caught up in different aspects of a persona or an argument that can obscure the basic fundamental facts of it.
Oh, yes, sadly.
I mean, I'll give you an example. The ability to say, like, take on someone like Dr. Umar, like, people get caught up in his presentation, his vibe, and they, and they forget to like fact check and like deal with what is actually happening. Or they don't want to take it on. Like I've had him on my show before and been swarmed by his people. They made videos about me, how I'm such a dumb lady and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, why? What do I do? They're swarming me. You don't seem to care at all.
Nah, I'm a small town dude that come from Texas and that was kind of popular growing up in high school. And because I grew up in the Bible Belt and always kind of thought a little differently from people around me, I got used to being ostracized and alienated at a young age. You feel me? So, like, I'm 32 years old right now. I've been getting ostracized and alienated since I was in elementary school, like, being honest. You feel me? So it's like when I got to be in a ninth grader in high school, a freshman in high school, that's when I just really, I say unapologetic. That's when I moved into being unapologetic and just really realized that I was an acquired taste. I wasn't for everybody, and there was going to be certain people that, regardless of what I did, they wasn't going to like me. I was homecoming king, prom king, class president in my little, 5A school. My graduating class was 800 people. Me growing up that way, it showed me very early that there are going to be certain decisions that I make, and regardless of how thorough I thought the decision now, it's always going to be somebody I piss off. So I shouldn't even worry about taking personal, piss people off.
Yeah, I think that's right.
That's how I think about it. Right?
But how do you get yourself to the point of having the kind of clarity or, opinions that you have? I mean, obviously, you're educated. You have 2 master's degrees, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, people think of people, and you're 32. You got two master's degrees and a BA. Obviously, you have to get that first. A lot of people assume that when they see someone who's popular on socials, that they're not necessarily coming from an educated place. How did you get to the consciousness that you now have?
I walked on to the University of Oklahoma policy debate team when I was 19 years old, a sophomore in school. And that gave me portable skills of being able to do research, of being able to say what I mean and mean what I say. And it taught me about the policymaking process, and it taught me about power. When I ended my debate career, I ended it as number 3 in the country, and I'm actually part of the Hall of Fame top 20 from the decade of 2010 to 2020. I say all of that because that's what provides me the confidence and the clarity to be able to say what I mean and mean what I say. And for me, it's like I'm very critical and conscious of power and domination and how it impacts oppressed peoples. So for me, when I don't know what's going on, and once I'm able to connect the dots between power and domination, I'm good. Then right now, there are a lot of individuals trying to gain knowledge and clarity over the Israeli occupation of Palestine. There are a lot of us that's, very hesitant in speaking about what's going on because we don't necessarily kind of know what's going on. For me, when I do my research and I recognize how power and domination operates, I'm able to then come to, for me, very straightforward conclusions. I know what power I understand power, and I understand casualties. You see what I'm saying? So for me, it's like when I start to deploy, the God blessed me with a mind, and I feel like I just use it.
Yeah, well, definitely, that's true. So if you start from, I always say follow the money. Who's paying for this? Who is it serving? That's one of the ways that I unpack talking points, aside from having a decent BS detector. Who is this serving? But you're saying for you, it always starts with power and domination. What is the dynamic? What is the power balance and the dynamic of dominance in this, whatever this situation is?
Yeah, but being real, I can simplify and think about it like this. When I think about power and domination, I think this benefits who or for who. So
right.
You say it's bad, I'm going to say for who. You say it's good, I'm going to say for who. Power and domination taught me that there's no universal perspective. There's no universal solution. There's always already somebody that's going to benefit and somebody that's going to be disadvantaged. The question is who. To me, that's a question of power and domination. So for me, I've always asked simple, for who? You say this, I'm going to say for who.
Yeah, that breaks it down. That cuts through a lot. We're talking with George Lee Jr. consciously. I want to break down some of the things that you talk about. Have you break them down, I should say. But I do want to, before we get to that, many times when we look at popularity on the internet, on social media, and you're very, very popular, just like you were in high school. You're popular on Instagram and Twitter or X and things. it seems like a lot of times the people that do get that popularity, if they're not getting naked, they're dealing in fear. They're selling fear or a certain kind of misinformation. You've managed to get very wildly popular from what I can see without doing those things. What do you attribute that to? How do you cultivate that space?
I think that there are a lot of people that are very similar to me, is that you have a thirst for truth and that you really are looking to understand how you are positioned in the world and how the world operates. And for me, it's like there are millions of content creators that what I call like you a penny hustler. You feel me? The way you make content is trash, but you need attention. So you're willing to say and do anything to get some attention and clicks. For me, I think that is kind of ingenuine, and it also facilitates the type of oppression and the type of domination that leads to marginalization that I'm against. You feel me? So for me, it's always thinking about if right is right and wrong is wrong. To me, truth has to be positioned in, you feel me, being ethical and being moral and being right. And for me, speaking truth to power is about accuracy. You know what I mean? And it's like you can go to CNN. If we're being real on like a shallow level, it's too much competition and people lying and being misinformation. Too much competition.
The field is crowded.
It's less competition over here being real. It's less competition being, you know what I'm saying, giving an analysis that is ethical and moral. It's less competition over there. It's more competition and people being, to me, just being lost in the sauce.
Yeah. I love that take, though. It's true. It's crowded over there. There seems to be enough to go around, but it's definitely crowded. George Lee Jr., when we come forward, I do want to talk a little bit about some of the takes you've been giving around Israel and Palestine. It's one of the areas where I say you've been pretty fearless in speaking your mind at a time when folks are really, confused, speaking when they don't have information, or following the pack. The consciously not doing that. And he's here with us today for the hour on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
What's up? I'm Danelle Riley, FAMU alumni and creator of the HBCU Culture Shop. I am so proud of my new partnership with Black Beyond Measure and Target. They help me elevate community pride with my HBCU designs and continue to support Black creators and entrepreneurs with Target HBCU challenges, scholarship programs, and campus collaborations. Let's come together this homecoming season and beyond. Shop my brand and discover other Black-owned products at target.com/blackbeyondmeasure.
I'm MC Light for Hip Hop Heritage, celebrating 50 years of hip hop, authentically powered by Cadillac. Wow. Reflecting on my life in hip hop, first off, as one of the early female MCs, I knew I had to be twice as nice as the male rappers out. Flow, style, voice, conviction. Lyrically, I had to double down on everything I delivered if I was going to get my respect. And I'm from Brooklyn, so you best believe I was going to take it. Hip-hop is everything. It's not just music, it's culture, it's fashion, it's the way you move, it's swag, it's hip-hop heritage, brought to you by Cadillac.
For more on how Cadillac is celebrating hip-hop's 50th, visit Cadillac.com/audacity.
Pro football player Travis Kelce is pressed for time during the football season, so he does two things at once. Whether it's grilling while mowing,
two things at once,
or getting this season's updated COVID-19 shot at the same visit as his flu shot.
Two things at once.
You can be like Travis and ask your pharmacist about getting this season's COVID-19 shot at the same visit as your flu shot, if you're due for both, as recommended by the CDC. Learn more and schedule at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Anyone can choose to make a difference. You can help people succeed, rebuild after disasters, protect the environment, or feed the hungry. Not only will you make a difference for others, but for yourself. You can earn money for college, learn career skills, and make friendships that last a lifetime. Make a difference. Choose your future. Choose AmeriCorps.
What's up? I'm Danelle Riley, FAMU alumni and creator of the HBCU Culture Shop. I am so proud of my new partnership with Black Beyond Measure and Target. They help me elevate community pride with my HBCU designs and continue to support Black creators and entrepreneurs with Target HBCU challenges, scholarship programs, and campus collaborations. Let's come together this homecoming season and beyond. Shop my brand and discover other Black-owned products at target.com/BlackBeyondMeasure.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Right now we're talking with George Lee Jr. He's overcome, adversity in his own childhood, went on to the University of Oklahoma, got a bachelor's and 2 master's degrees. Now he does public speaking, a public intellectual, and an influential content creator known as the Conscious Lee. So how do you decide what you're going to talk about? I hear myself asking you that. I think I've been asked that a million times as a talk radio person. How do you figure out what to speak on?
2 ways. Usually really what's on my mind and heart, really. Like, I'm very impulsive. I recently got diagnosed with adult ADHD and been able to rethink my life and think like, man, I've been this way the whole my life. So pretty much I don't put a lot of thinking. I don't put a lot of thought in it. You feel me? Whatever speaks to me at that moment, I just kind of make the video then. Or if I'm being kind of bombarded with things on my timeline that's very consistent, then, of course, I start thinking about it, and then I have an impulsive thought or analysis, and I make the video. But I don't put a lot of I don't put a lot of process through it. I don't put a lot of thought into. I'm gonna talk about this. I'm gonna talk about that. It's like, does it have to do with power and domination? Can I speak to it like I know what I'm talking about? Say less.
And, right now you got 3 million folks between TikTok, IG, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. That's a lot of people. That's like a whole network TV audience, actually, that you've built for yourself. Do you ever, I'll give you an example. You're speaking a lot about Palestine right now, and I want to talk about that, Palestine and Israel. And I know some folks who have said, well, when I've spoke out on that, I lost thousands of followers instantly, so I wondered if I should be talking about it.
Yeah, I don't care about that. I think that social media is a up and down game, just like TV networking is. And if I showed you my analytics on Instagram, I lose thousands of followers a week. But I gain more thousands of followers a week as well. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's just like I know what's in me going to come out of me. You feel me? So ain't no need for me to fake the funk or to try to be so, buttoned up that when I do let my button down, you surprised. So for me, it's just like, hey, I'm going to dance sometimes. I'm going to talk about transphobia. I'm going to talk about genocide. I'm going to say free Palestine. I'm going to talk about ableism. I'm talking about all these things. And it's like, I really see myself as an educator. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm an educator. I got a master in education. I recognize that my teaching style is probably not going to be conducive to every learning, you feel me, to every learning method, you feel me? I know that when you go to any school, it's the reason why they have multiple teachers that teach the same subject, because all people don't teach the same. Everybody don't learn the same. I'm completely fine with the individual following me and then deciding, I don't like the way Conscious Lee teaches. I don't like the way Mr. Lee's saying it. I'm unfollowed. That's fine with me, but it's not going to stop me from speaking truth to power. If I think I'm right, I don't care about the consequences for me being right. You feel me? Maybe one day it'll be my demise, but it's like, if I'm right, leave me alone. If I'm wrong, then set me right. But if I ain't wrong, then leave me alone. And for me, that's just really how it is. Like, I don't care. Unfollow me. That's fine. Free Palestine. If you don't like that, if you don't like the idea of me being critical of a state that is able to push genocide, I don't know what to tell you. That's fine. Go about your business. I'm very consistent. When Kyrie Irving and Kanye West were being anti-Semitic, I was all over them. I was on them. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I was educating people about why you should not be anti-Semitic and why what they did was anti-Semitic. So for me, I'm being consistent in terms of power and domination and acknowledge how the state of Israel is literally facilitating Arab-Palestinian death. People are going to talk about, this a holy war, go back to 2,000 or 3,000 years ago. And it's like, so what you're telling me is that your Roman Empire expelling Jewish people justifies Arab Palestinians being killed right now? So in America, we have freedom of religion and we have separation of church and state. You cannot allow for taxpayers' dollars to literally go funding religious motives. So we can, though, send $3 billion over to Israel to fight what y'all call a holy war, make it make sense. So we have freedom of religion here. So if I don't believe in your God, what does it mean for you to tell me that your God just saves your homeland? To me, there's a lot of funny business in the game. And the last thing I say to end this rant, think about it. If white America cares so much about who was at a land first 2,000 or 3,000 years ago, when will they return America back to the indigenous peoples? The same narrative they saying for Jewish people, it also applies to the Hawaiians. It applies to New Zealand. It applies to Australia. It applies to all settler colonial states, i.e., these people was here 2,000 years before everybody else. But when we talk about it in America, they don't say, hey, Mr. Lee, colonialism is human. Everybody colonizes and everybody conquers. But you're going to tell me, though, that 2,000 years ago, what the Bible says is that the Roman Empire or the Romans kicked them out, and it justifies in 1948 killing Palestinians. But black people stuck in time, though. We stuck in time, but you can go back 2,000 years. That's crazy to me. That's wild. That's wild to me. Think about it. You are African-American. They tried to colonize Liberia doing the same thing. Did it justify African-Americans being able to go displace native Liberians? No.
Yeah.
Like, we can keep on going with this. Like, we keep on going. This is settler colonialism. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, James Baldwin, all of them spoke specifically to the Palestinian occupation and how they were being done. Why did they do that? Why? So we think about this. When Mike Brown got killed in Ferguson, why did the Palestinians reach out to black Americans and tell them about how to navigate tear gas? Because they literally were pointing out that, the Israeli police officers and the police officers in America, they're trained together. They're funded by the same individuals. Keep it now. In 2020, you know how many Palestinians was getting brutalized for standing in solidarity with George Floyd and black Americans? So the idea that, hey, man, black people should mind their business, ain't got nothing to do with us, think about it. When you talking about why Flint still got dirty water, you don't think it's a trade-off that they send billions of dollars to go fight and kill Palestinians over? I think that could be used to give us an updated book. Could be used to give us, you know what I'm saying, some better roads. But no, it's sent over to fight American imperialism.
When you say black people are stuck in time, what do you mean by that?
Black people, they would say that when we talk about slavery, when we talk about the past, that we are engaging in victim mentality and that we are stuck in the past and that we need to get over it and that we need to move forward.
Right.
So to me, I'm acknowledging the contradiction in saying that we're going to give $3 billion annually to something that went on 2,000 years ago, but black people better not fix their mouth to talk about something that happened 300 years ago, 400 years ago. You're stuck in the past. That makes no sense.
Yeah. Okay. No, I just want to be clear because, that is a contradiction. I think when we deal with talking points, which I like to do on Talking Point Tuesday, when it comes to Israel and Palestine, there's a lot of things that confuse people. You went all the way back 2,000 years. A lot of, folks think, 1940s is when this, war was fought. Maybe it's a reaction to, the victimization of Jewish people in World War II. Maybe it's a reaction to the fact that Jewish people have been the victims of genocidal campaigns and that they've been the victims of anti-Semitism. But one of the talking points that's most problematic for me in dealing with Israel and Palestine is this idea that being critical of the Israeli government or U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East is synonymous with anti-Semitism. It just that's a talking point that seems to be enacted in a really pervasive way.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think that it's twofold, though. There is a lot of people that's lost in the sauce of anti-Semitism, and they don't recognize when they start correlating these conspiracy theories about, Jewish wealth, so they start talking about Jewish control, that we're starting to slip into some anti-Semitism. I think that we can walk and chew gum at the same time while being very staunch critics of anti-Semitism and being very critical of the Zionist state of Israel. I can acknowledge that there are a lot of anti-Semites that hide behind being anti-Zionists. meaning that you are really discriminating and pushing prejudice against Jewish people, and you're doing it by hiding behind being critical behind the Israel state. Well, it's very important to acknowledge that the Jewish identity is not synonymous with the with the Israel state. It's like we can acknowledge the Palestinian identity is not synonymous with Hamas. All white people in America don't represent, you feel me, the KKK. As a matter of fact, think about it like this. When September 9/11 happened, when the global community talks about standing with America, did they have to condemn the KKK? Did they have to condemn any white American terrorist organizations? No, they did not. Right here is when we start getting into how white supremacy operates and how white people have the privilege of transcendence. You always already an individual, and it's all you is. But if I talk about Free Palestine, I have to automatically jump to making sure that you don't get me confused with being an anti-Semitic person or a person that's trying to endorse terrorists from Hamas. You see what I'm saying? For me, it's like, hey, innocent civilians being murdered in any way, shape, or fashion is always wrong, right? So when we condemn the innocent killing of Israeli citizens, we should have that same energy for Palestinian civilians. When you do that, though, you're going to acknowledge that literally it's astronomically more Palestinian innocent civilians being murdered that go well past 1987. And the reason I'm saying 1987, for people that's listening to this, 1987 was the year that Hamas was established. Palestinians have been getting murdered and displaced and having their land stolen since 1917, 1948. In between 1917 and 1948 is when an English man named Arthur Balfour wrote a letter that literally changed the Middle East as we know it right now. When I watched this speech from President Joe Biden from 1985 talking about the significance of the Arab Peninsula and how it's the greatest investment that America has to keep its interests, it all makes sense. Do you think that America, think about it, America be kicking it with Nazis? America say that it's Nazis' freedom of speech to push Nazism, and then they will send $3 billion to Israel. You don't care about Jewish people. You see what I'm saying? You don't care about Jewish people. And that's what I think that is very, like, the word I would use is racial illiteracy. Our society suffers from racial illiteracy. You have a lack in ability to read and write situations pertaining to race, and your racial illiteracy, it usually facilitates racial violence. In this instance, we're talking about Arab, Palestinian violence. It's crazy.
Talking with Conscious Lee, George Lee Jr., and you're welcome in 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Racial illiteracy, it's a powerful concept. I'm always talking about how we don't know the difference between race, culture, nationality, and ethnicity. And that, I believe what you just said, is part of it. I want to talk about, we got some folks on the phone, and I want to talk about some of the other things on your timeline when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to here with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez claims the feds are hunting him down like prey. The Democrats' strong reaction comes after a new criminal charge that he allegedly conspired to act as an agent for the government of Egypt in exchange for cash and gold bars. Menendez says he's not going to resign. A jury has been selected and opening statements are expected to get underway today in the trial of a man accused of killing a Columbus, Ohio Muslim religious leader. The defendant, John Wooten, who is African-American, is facing aggravated murder charges in connection with the December 2021 shooting death of Muhammad Assam Adam. Investigators say Adam was found dead in his vehicle with 4 gunshot wounds 2 days after he was reported missing by family members. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
If you like using debit over credit, shouldn't you also get rewarded? Well, now you can with Discover Cashback Debit. It's a checking account that rewards everyone with cash back on everyday purchases with no fees, period. Check out eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashbackdebit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Chargers lose by 3 to the Dallas Cowboys last night. Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert threw an interception with 1:20 left in the fourth quarter to seal the victory for an inspired Cowboys team. A week ago, the Cowboys gave up 42 points at San Francisco. They allowed only 17 last night. Rams starting cornerback Darian Kendrick was arrested early Monday morning in Hollywood for illegal possession of a gun in his car. The gun was found when Kendrick was pulled over for a traffic violation. Kendrick was arrested on a similar charge in 2021 in his hometown of Rock Hill, South Carolina. Rock Hill police found Kendrick sleeping in his car with a gun on his lap. Top 5 college football teams in this week's AP poll: Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, and Washington. USC dropped from 10th to 18th. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
We're celebrating 1 year of the K. From checking out the vibrant art and diverse dining in Leimert Park to cheering on your favorite team in Inglewood, you can choose your own adventure when you ride the Metro K-Line. Leave the car at home and go Metro. Visit metro.net/K-Line.
The Green Foundation, key health influencer, empowering our Black communities through action. The Green Foundation advocates for affordable health care, accessibility, and knows the importance of culturally relatable health care. Regardless of income, we believe it is a right for optimum health. The Green Foundation has been at the forefront for 25 years, dedicated solely to promoting prevention through early detection, annual screenings, and nutrition. We know you because we are you. Our hand-holding approach supports you and your family to receive your right to be treated fairly and receiving quality healthcare services. We want you and your family to know COVID-19 was devastating to our families and to our wallet. We can build back better by understanding prevention, wearing your mask, washing your hands, social distancing, and understanding the impact of long COVID. Get the care you deserve. Take advantage of your privileges. Contact us, info@thegreenfoundation.net. info@thegreenfoundation.net.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council. Now. We tend not to think about now. We dream about tomorrow, relive yesterday. But right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory. Learn more at v.org.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look. And unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So, let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California, once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at a gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event. Or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it. Together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
George Lee Jr. is on KBLA. It's a great day around here. Conscious Lee is how he's known on social media. And, you talk about a lot of things, but you opened a can of worms with the racial illiteracy piece. I think it's a version of something I talk about a lot, is that we don't even know who we are. What is race? When you talk about race, culture, ethnicity, nationality, who you are, where you are in the world. But you talk about that, but you also talk about class a lot, too. You have both analysis in your conversations.
Most definitely.
Do you think we're class illiterate?
No. I think that we have a lot of illiteracy when it comes to identity. Most of us are very financially illiterate. So when it comes to how we understand class and mobility and access and opportunity, I think that a lot of us is lost in the sauce. You feel me? I think that most of us believe in meritocracy, even though it's a myth that we work hard, this, that, and the other, we'll be this, that, and the other. And it's like, hey, people, black folks, man, we've been working the hardest, some could argue, in America since the beginning when it got colonized. When we don't have the assets to be able to back up our hardworking labor, this is when we start to get into how in class everybody's labor isn't valued the same, and how particular laborers are positioned to always already be exploited, and how some are pushed for just accumulation. Now, everybody gets exploited, but it's something specific to me about how black people operate in class. And then I had picked up this book called For Our Own People, Our Own Kind of People by Lawrence Otis Brown, about the inside of America's black upper class. And man, I learned some things.
I have to read that. I haven't read that one. So I saw a piece you did about accidental racism, which I thought was pretty brilliant. And the way that many times people will turn the victim into the perpetrator and the perpetrator into the victim when it comes to racism.
Yeah, definitely. I think that anti-blackness and white supremacy it complements each other very well to be able to pervert what actually happened. I think that a lot of times when we're in professional settings, when we're in educational settings, and we start to talk about racism and how it impacts us, we acknowledge that we're seen as the party poopers or the bearers of bad news by talking about how we were victimized. And then the person that we're talking about that's guilty of doing the victimization, their feelings get centered and their comfort gets centered. So them being made uncomfortable or experiencing discomfort by being called out, that becomes the biggest issue. And what you experience becomes, kind of secondary. And what I know is that when we start thinking about like diversity and inclusion, or even HR in many instances, it usually operates in terms of who gets to feel offended and who can't.
Right.
Who question the power? Like, who can feel offended?
And that's that's the basis of some of these laws, around education. You can't teach something that will make white kids feel uncomfortable, even if it happens to be the truth. I don't see any laws like that, centering black children.
No, you're not gonna see anything. Or I don't think that the way that black life is set up is set up in a way in America that make it where how we experience and our feelings and our emotions is supposed to be centered or even cared about. Think about it. For the entirety of 2021, all the way up until, they passed the law in Florida that says that slavery was beneficial to black people, what was being censored is the potential for white parents and white kids to be offended. The potential necessitated legislation. Black people saying, hey, it offends me that you actually gonna teach this, get over it.
Yeah, right. Get over it. Why do you have a chip on your shoulder? Let's go to Kwamel calling us from Gardena. Morning, Kwamel.
Yeah. What's happening? Brother Conscious Me, I'm happy that you're here because you're on my young request list. I said, DiPrima, you got to bring brothers like this man on because it's important to see a young brother bringing a critical thinking perspective that we don't see too often. I think it's been a reactionary wave amongst brothers that has been really disappointing. I've seen people like FD Signifier and Kevin Powell yesterday on Dominique's show, point out how as we get the sisters talking about things from a progressive and critical thinking standpoint, that there's not been that kind of parallel with the brothers, and to see you and FD and some of the others fighting a good fight is important. So I wanted to get your take, and I'll take these comments off the air about what you see kind of with this reactionary wave amongst black men, and kind of that almost kind of, wave of siding with the right or jumping into conspiracy theories, things like that. And again, I'll take your comments off the air.
Yeah, appreciate it, definitely. Great question. I think that when we talk about here's how I'll ask the question. For me, I ask the question like, who did I learn how to be a man? And when it comes to masculinity and malehood, where do I get these ideas from? And for me, it takes me to like plantation patriarchy and how a lot of us black men, the type of malehood and masculinity that we try to emulate was that of the master. And I think that it literally makes it where we don't think about how when we emulate those forms of masculinity, how it messes up black women. So I think about how easy it was for different black men to not care about black people hitting the streets in 2020 and care about being a high-value man. Think about it. Think about how it speaks to your character and kind of how easy it was to get you on what I think is an alt-right pipeline. You see what I'm saying? What I like about race, class, gender, ability, sexuality is that I learned there are different notions. And when the colonizer came over to the Americas, they brought their own ideas of sexuality and gender. A lot of us be duped to thinking about gender being kind of objective or neutral, and we don't recognize that we started to be spoon-fed these white supremacist notions of masculinity and feminism. To me, the Kevin Samuels and Andrew Tates of the world, not all bad, right? But when they are bad, it is so immoral and it's so persuasive that it allows for particular black men to buy into a matrix, to buy into the reason why you as a black man is not where you at and where you want to be at. It's because a black woman is getting a job he's supposed to have. It's because a black woman can go into court and win child custody. It's because a black woman is seen as being more college graduates. It's like, I think that notion and the uprising that had there in 2020, I think that's where it happened at. I think it happens because a lot of us want equality. I think that when I was first going through consciousness, one of the elders taught me that, some enslaved people wanted the head of the master, and some of them just wanted to run the plantation. A lot of us black men want to run the plantation. A lot of us black men don't want the head of the king. We want the crown of the king. You see what I'm saying? You want to be the white man. And because there's certain individuals that believe they cannot prove their humanity unless they can do everything the white man does, this means that, hey, if a white man can dominate his woman, I should be able to dominate mine. If a white man can tell this, that, and the other, I should do this to mine. That's what I think.
It also creates a conundrum for black women because for someone like me who loves black men, you don't want to be undermining or emasculating or all the things that we're accused of doing. But at the same time, I'm also a feminist, and you're not going to just pull out, patriarchy 101 and I'm gonna be like, okay. So it creates a real, narrow lane for being able to advocate for black men and still, advocate for oneself as a black woman.
Agreed. When that black woman got hit with that brick in Houston, and I seen how people responded, that taught me everything I need to know. Like y'all, like literally, you have projection happening. You said something about being a feminist. What I know is that on the internet, a lot of individuals that are are in opposition to feminism, one of their criticisms is going to be is that feminism is not for black women. Feminism is teaching black women how to be white women. When in actuality, all their criticisms towards black feminism is literally copied and pasted from white, misogyny. Literally just repeating what they saying. All you doing is in the blackface. But it doesn't change that you ain't never read it. It don't change that your criticisms of white feminism is trash compared to the better criticisms that black feminism has of mainstream white feminism. So for me, that's what I think of. And then again, I think some black men really, we taught in order to prove that we a man, we got to be able to dominate something and somebody. In terms of proximity, that something or somebody is usually black women.
Talking with George Lee Jr., Conscious Lee, continuing the conversation. When we come forward, you know where you're at. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Do you have both Medi-Cal and Medicare?
If so, the new LA Care plan called Medicare Plus can help you get the most out of your health plan for $0.
LA Care provides personalized service to Angelinos like us.
Plus, it gives us access to doctors and specialists across Los Angeles County.
For zero cost, we get access to full benefits.
From vision coverage,
in-home support services,
to prescription drug coverage,
and a quarterly over-the-counter allowance,
plus personal equipment,
meal programs,
a gym membership,
and so much more.
For more than 25 years,
LA Care has provided Angelenos with access to quality health care at an affordable cost.
For our families,
our seniors,
our community,
it's a plus.
It's a plus
for all of us.
At City National, we listen to you.
I want to expand my business and my legacy.
I want to set up the next generation for success.
I want to see my vision come to life.
I want to feel right at home. Your goals, passions, vision, future. We want to hear it and work alongside you to achieve it. Visit cnb.com to learn more. City National Bank. Here for our clients and communities.
If you're a veteran with a service-connected disability that is directly impacting your ability to work, resources are available to help you find employment. VA's Veteran Readiness and Employment, or VR&E, can assist you with finding a job that uses your existing skills. Or, if you're interested in exploring a new field, a VR&E counselor can help you determine the right education or training options for a new career. Find out if VR&E is right for you by visiting va.gov/VRE today.
At Susan G. Komen, we believe that ending breast cancer needs all of us working together. Because if you've just been diagnosed and don't know where to turn, we've got you. If you can't afford the treatment you need, we've got you. And if you are driven to honor the loved one you've just lost, we have a place for you here. Because of you, we're supporting those who need help today while tirelessly searching for tomorrow's cures. Visit Komen.org and be a part of our Susan G. Komen community today.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
The conversation with George Lee Jr., the conscious Lee, is fire. Appreciate that. And you do speaking. You do public speaking. You even do workshops teaching racial literacy. You moderate conversations, all that kind of stuff. How can we contact you if we're interested in, getting in partnership with you in that way?
Yeah, theconsciously.com, or you can go to the link in my bio on any social media platform, and you can get in contact with me and my team. I do workshops, facilitations, I do panels, I do educational consulting. If you feel like your curriculum is a little dry, you feel me, need a little season, holla at your boy. Education is elevation. Research with me, search. That's what I do. I got a book on the way, and I also got an online class, man.
What's the book?
The book is going to be about social media and social issues, and it's going to be about, and I'm writing about my perspective as an educator, being able to navigate issues like gaslighting, issues like cryptocurrency, how the internet is able to talk about things like fat phobia and think about, generational wealth, but how social media and social issues collide, and how when policy operates, or how when we think you get to the classroom, how a lot of things on that timeline impacting your kids, your boss, you feel me, all that. I'm writing this in a way that I think could potentially be a part of curriculums when it comes to digital marketing and thinking about how social media has impacted the world.
Yeah, I think it's an important topic. For me, that conversation always has to include media literacy, because I feel like, especially as we get into AI and the whole deep fake conversation and what you call the penny hustlers on socials and who trade in misinformation and disinformation, the only way forward is going to be for us to be more sophisticated on our consumption of content.
I agree.
So how do we get there? I mean, you're there. How does everybody get there?
For me, when I learned, when I was 19 years old, I read Huey P. Newton's book, Revolutionary Suicide. When he gave me the definition of power, it changed my life. And I think that it really fuels the work that I do. I think that everybody would learn and everybody would benefit with thinking about power in the way that Huey P. Newton taught us, the co-founder of the Black Panther Party. He said that power is the ability to define a phenomenon and make it act in a desired manner. When it comes to media or any issues, that it's very important to understand how it operates, how it functions, how it's processed, and how to navigate it. And for me, that's how I think about social media. And then it's recognizing now no matter what you're doing now, whether you're selling a product or a service, whether you are a teacher or, you know what I'm saying, a sex worker, you have to have social media presence and just acknowledging what that means in terms of media and how we even how we make transactions. All of us now digitally. So if you have digital illiteracy, you're going to get lost. You're going to get messed over. You're going to get exploited. You're going to be easily taken advantage of because you're not aware of what's going on. And like before we got on social media, it's always been like this word, hey, you don't know what's going on? You're going to be easy to get gotten over. Like, do you want to get easy to get got over? Or do you want to learn what's going on? To me, it's just really kind of that simple.
Yeah, I think it is that simple, and I definitely think there's a huge gap, knowledge gap here when it comes to our elders. I think that showed up during the pandemic when folks were not getting loans, they weren't those grants, the aid, all kinds of help, because folks don't know how to do anything on their phone other than make a call and scroll on Facebook or Instagram. That's it.
Yes, and then the other way will be what I've seen that I was disappointed from people my generation and younger is that they have a lack of knowledge in terms of how the media standards are right now, and as a result, they have done bad things or said bad things. Example, when we had the writers-actors strike, we had a lot of individuals that were very ignorant to the protests and ignorant to, the breakdown in money. So you had different individuals that thought that actors and actresses were being ungrateful. And you had different individuals that in social media that were scabbing, and it was like, hey, peep game. Them folks is trying to protest and make sure they get more value for their labor. This company they don't care about you. They're using you to step on their toes. They call that being a scab. You are in media, and you in media full time. You should know this.
Yeah.
You should know this.
I'm in the Screen Actors Guild, and we're still on strike. They gave the writers a deal, but yeah, I mean, it's true. It's the same thing is happening with Palestine and Israel. The same thing happens when folks get out and make a statement with, whether they're a celebrity, an influencer, or average Joe, and do not do any reading or research. Just jump on out there. It creates a lot of problems. We're talking with Conscious Lee. When we come forward, we'll get some final thoughts from him, what he wants to leave us with this morning on KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Ray Richardson, your sports connection here at KBLA Talk 1580. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough every Saturday night at 7 for Out of Bounds, the show that brings some flavor to the world of sports for 60 minutes. We take you beyond the scores and press conferences. We give you our point of view, the way black folks see what's going down. You can join the conversation and give us your analysis at 1-800-920-1580. Out of Bounds every Saturday night at 7 on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You like the style, though. Only 1 in 5 people with autism are employed, despite many having the skill set and desire to work.
Maybe it's because employers don't know what kind of jobs they can do. Like, what about a programmer?
That's a job for someone with autism.
How about a healthcare worker?
Yep, that is too. People with autism can do a lot of different jobs, but often get overlooked due to outdated stigmas. Introducing WIN by Autism Speaks. We help businesses lead the way in inclusive hiring.
What about a ranch hand?
To learn more, go to autismspeaks.org/win.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Roll Charmin Ultra Strong when you drop in the beat. It cleans with way less effort on your seat. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Charmin flows extra strong from the road. Your butt hella clean while you're sitting on the bowl. Yeah, it's all you need for that bathroom groove. Get you in and out without nothing to prove.
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth.
Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome. We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
We don't black down, and neither does George Lee Jr., Conscious Lee. I know you talk about so many things. We could sit here and talk forever, but what do you want to make sure people think about, know about, have in their brains as you leave us this morning? And by the way, theconsciouslee.com if you're looking for a moderator, a speech maker, a curriculum maker, or I would imagine many other things. I can't imagine. I can see you doing, helping people figure out their messaging. Man, a lot of folks could use your help with that.
Yeah, definitely a PR consultant as well. Holler at me. I think that the portable skills that debate taught me, how to say what you mean and mean what you say, and think about the potential arguments or potential objections people can make to what you say. I think that makes me a great communicator, and I think that's the reason why I'm able to a lot of times articulate so clearly, because I'm thinking about, as I'm speaking, what people could say to push back at it, and then I'm trying to account for it while I'm saying it. The thing I want people to really think about is just how you relate to power and domination, and when you're thinking about what's happening in the world, who taught you that, and how do they benefit from teaching you that that's what's happening? And then just who are you? You feel me? Just really thinking about who you are, how you come to know yourself, and like how what you know who you are today, right now in this moment, like what that mean in terms of what's going around. The last thing I'll say is Huey P. Newton, the co-founder of the Black Panther Party. He taught me so much that the reason why I care about international relations is because he taught me how to think globally and act locally. Think globally and act locally. He also taught me about power to the people, and when he said power to the people, to all oppressed peoples around the globe. Our government is a global entity, meaning that it has an empire. You feel me? The America is a global imperial state. We have our taxpayer dollars that's sent all throughout this world. When you're thinking about how you eat and sleep for dinner, or you thinking about how you having to rub 2 nickels together to be able to survive, or how you have to work 5 jobs to pay your rent, or you got to make the decision between paying your rent and eating, think about how your taxpayer dollars, when they chastising you about not buying Starbucks and avocado toast, hey, they gave them $3 billion a year. They also gave them rich folks. They got financial departments. They are approving them all type of loans. Think about that when you chastising poor people for buying Jordans, or when you chastising poor people for eating avocado toast. Think about that. Education is elevation, theconsciously.com.
Theconsciously.com. It's a pleasure to speak with you and be in conversation. Your end game, if you have one, like, your where is there for you? Where's I made it for Consciously?
To be honest with you, when you answer it that way, I don't know if I'd be able to make that point. I've accepted that there are a lot of seeds that I'm going to be planting right now in this new transactional world of virtual reality, and that I'm probably not going to live to see a lot of these seeds kind of come together. But the ultimate goal in terms of my career is being able to build a international entity for educating and making it where all people around the world, regardless of your race, class, gender, ability, or sexuality, is learning about critically how power and domination operates, and learning about how we are related to, how we are connected to each other. Education is elevation. It's like when you think about Coca-Cola, whether you in Timbuktu or you in East Oakland, you know the brand, you know the sign. You feel me? For me, consciously, the brand, the sign, trying to, be able to build that type of international presence to make it where I can go to the Gaza Strip, I can go to Somalia, I can go to, Okinawa, I can go to the Philippines, and I can really connect with the people there and be able to share resources. That's why I'm trying to stay independent, but also being able to, I feel like build, really, just build.
Yeah. Well, Consciously, it's a pleasure to talk with you. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez claims the feds are hunting him down like prey. The Democrats' strong reaction comes after a new criminal charge that he allegedly conspired to act as an agent for the government of